Okay, today's video we're going to talk about what minimum Google Ads budget you need to be able to springboard a tiny bit of money and turn it into a bunch of money using Google Ads. I'll start off this video by saying yes, there's probably some other videos that you could find on YouTube that'll tell you the answer to this question. But they're by people who are selling you courses. They're not ad strategists who work with a bunch of different accounts and clients who actually knows what's going on and has had a history of doing this hundreds of times in the last 15 years. I've seen in a great number of different markets where this has been done it personally, have done it personally many times, and can tell you the actual amount of money that it actually takes to get up and going. The short of this is, the good news is you can actually start out with extremely small amounts of money, $1 a day and the like, if you don't have any more than that to spend in Google Ads. What really matters more than anything is your effort in putting in your time in that case to build the best campaign that you can, the best site/landing page you can for your campaign to actually work. So with what you can't afford to spend in ad budget starting out potentially, you put in time on that campaign so you can make every dollar count. On the flip side, if you have tons of money and you just want the damn thing to work with almost no effort, you could literally just, like you're shoveling cash onto a fire, throw enough cash at it, it'll eventually start working, assuming your site's halfway decent and you have a halfway decent offer, because through Google's quality score and their algorithm, AI system, their algorithm, if you will eventually find the customers for you just through brute trial and error. So, but on the other side of that, if you don't have much money at all, you can't let Google just find your customers for you. You got to be able to get a click and know every click that you're paying for is the click that you want, and not just a click you want, the best click you can invest in out of every possible click you can get on the Google Ads platform, so that you get the maximum value out of that click, so that you can turn $1 into $2 into $4, and so you can actually make it work. Otherwise, if you have a tiny budget like $1 a day and you aren't doing that, then your campaign's going to take millennia for it to work, and you basically just take too long ultimately, because Google's system's slow in figuring out what works. You can use your brain and your muscles, your effort, to set something up that's really good and that will just work right away, and then that $1 will be enough to get you off the ground. So I'm going to explain how this actually works in reality, why basically this will and has to work for you even if you only had $1 a day starting out, and why you can't expect though that basically you could get rich off of that $1 away extremely quickly. It still takes some time. Google is not going to give you the time of day in terms of what you're having to be charged for a click, give you the best quality buyers there are until you've actually spent some money on the system still. But you can get a campaign profitable even if you only had $1 a day budget in 1 to 6 months with that kind of a starting budget starting out. I'm going to explain the process of doing that here very briefly. So regardless of your financial situation, if you want to actually make things work, this is the information you're going to have. And so, in addition to that, you can watch my other videos, which goes into detail on doing the things I'm talking about here. If you are going to be the type that just rolls up their sleeve, has hardly any money, but wants to put the time in to get the campaigns working. It's not a matter of if it will work, it's just a matter of how long it's going to take to work specifically and how much effort that has to be put in to get those results up front. The right setup from the beginning will make sure it works every time. So that said, most people, when they reach out, because I run a PPC agency, as I mentioned, starting out this video, okay? I've worked with hundreds of clients at this particular point in time. And the reason why this information is valuable, by the way, is I'm not selling your courses. I'm not just a YouTuber. I'm an ad strategist who just does strategy. I have a team who helps me execute, but I just do strategy all day long on dozens of accounts. Tell you exactly what works and what doesn't work on this channel. Nobody else basically is doing that. With that said, people come to me all the time and they say, hey Corey, a lot of you guys from the channel even reach out to my site, ask for advice, which you can do, by the way, if you feel like you want to do that. I'd be happy to try to help you out. No charge for simple questions. Just like you can leave a question down in the comment section, and I'll always get back to you about any ad-related question you have. But clients will come, or YouTubers, or people from YouTube, reach out to my site, guaranteeppc.com, and they'll say, how much do I need to start out with? Which is why I made this video. They'll ask for a per day budget or per month budget. And the reality is, like I said, starting out this video, you could start out with literally, I'm not embellishing here, $1 a day ad budget, which obviously anybody can afford, which would be smart to do if you have more time than money, okay? As you get into business, you have more money, you spend your money to, even though it's not going to be as good as doing stuff yourself, you invest in other people doing it. And as long as it breaks even, or it's better than break even in terms of your profitability, you do it because it helps you make more money. Whereas at the beginning, you want your profit, when you're starting out with very little money, you want whatever you're doing to have a very high profit margin, because if you have a low profit margin, it's going to take forever to double that money that you're investing. And when, if it takes forever to double $1 into $2, you're going to be working for basically nothing, virtually nothing, for a long time. All we're doing is we're playing a game of double the money when we're trying to, run these Google ads. Go after the most productive stuff first, and then the second most productive stuff, and then just see how far we can go to where whatever we're doing isn't profitable anymore. And for most people in most markets, as long as you follow the systems I give you on this channel, that's millions of dollars a year in sales and millions in profit in a lot of different markets as well. So you want to start with something that's going to be extremely profitable up front on that $1 a day, so you can get to $2 a day fairly quickly, and then to $4 and so forth per day, and then eventually you'll be at 50 grand a month, or $3 grand a day, which is your typical successful campaign on Google Ads. So what is the most profitable thing you can do? Do that, and even if it takes a lot of effort up front, which things that have the highest profit margin generally takes the most effort, because the most effort will be outworking your competitors, making something that's more useful for your prospective customers than your competitors, which means you'll get most of that action, whereas they won't. Whereas people that have a lot more money than you, how you beat them is you just simply put more work in to help the user find what they want quicker, easier, better, and then you end up being able to beat them because you put the effort in. And the reality is, what that generally involves is, instead of making one ad for all your keywords, it's make one ad for every keyword, making one landing page for every keyword. So when somebody's searching for polka dot blue and red shoes, you have an ad that says polka dot blue and red shoes for sale, and you take them to a page that has that exact product on it. When nobody else does that, your stuff converts much better than the competition. You can afford to get more out of a click than your competition, which means that'll work, and it'll work at a high margin, so the time to get from that $1 a day to $2 a day will be fairly quick. Anyway, so basically, if you wanted to, you can start out with $1 a day. It's not ideal, you're working for not much profit at the beginning, but if you go after the stuff that's most profitable first, you're talking about maybe a month in, you already have doubled that to $2 a day and so forth. So the more work you put in to make whatever you're doing more effective, or most effective as possible, and the more work you do to go after the most effective, there's 100 things you could do going after the most effective, most profitable thing in terms of profit margin, potential profit margin, the quicker you'll get to that $2 a day, and then you can keep doubling. The main thing though is when you start out, because of Google being based upon a machine learning AI algorithm that drives what ads get shown for what keywords on Google, you need to wait, even no matter if you go after the most profitable thing or not, you need to wait a certain amount of clicks until your cost per click comes down, and you're not paying, instead of paying $5 a click, you're paying $1 per click. And you need a certain amount of clicks before your conversion rate comes up, because Google actually will give you the lowest quality clicks on the keywords you're advertising on until you prove to them that your click-through rate and your conversion rate on the ads that you have up and going are as good or better than the leading competition in your market. There's 4 ads at the top of Google. In competitive markets, there's usually 10 people cycling out of those spots. Google's looking for the highest click-through rate ads and the highest conversion rate that ads, if you will, from the people that get to the other side and then convert or not convert, to promote those at the top of Google first, because they want their users to get a good experience, so they'll click on ads in the future. And the people that have those two things better than 90% of the competition, they'll charge you way less per click, but then they'll give you a better chunk of the traffic. Because people think that if you bid on red shoes as a keyword, you're going to show up for red shoes, and otherwise you're not, and that's it. No, the people searching for red shoes, they've sub-segmented the people who search red shoes on an ongoing basis, on a monthly basis, 1,000 different ways, based upon, what's that person's age, what's that person's gender, where are they from geographically, what's their income, what do they do before they made that search on average, what's their interests, what's their hobbies, all this stuff, because they want to know, of the people that go on to buy from after clicking on an ad from the search result related to red shoes, they want to know the traits of those people, so that when an advertiser says, I can pay $50 for a customer, they know how to deliver a customer for $50 because they can pretty much predict what's the likelihood of somebody that comes to Google searching for that keyword is going to convert versus somebody else. So they can predict, basically so they can hit your ROI targets. With people that have been on Google the longest, they get the best traffic because Google's already been set up to give them a set amount of traffic, which is basically the best traffic for those keywords. When you come in, because you're not likely to be there, 90% of people who try Google ads are in and out and within 3 months, and they don't want to disrupt the people that have been advertising there a long time, in which they know pretty much what people within that keyword should get the traffic. They're going to give you the kind of like the leftovers, which means your conversion rate on the clicks you're paying for at the beginning is also going to be less. A lot of people don't realize this, so it could take 1 to 6 months for your starting $1 a day to be profitable because of those two things, okay? In short, you invest what you can't afford to lose. You assume that $1 a day, if that's what you're investing, is going to disappear for 1 to 6 months until it makes money. Then once it makes money, you can go to your $2 a day and then keep building it up, like I said. But the cost per click, or what you're paying for a click on whatever keywords you start out with, you can know up front that your cost per click, assuming you do things the right way, you have the leading cost per click in your market, the leading click-through rate on your market, the leading conversion rate in your market, you'll start out by paying 4 to 6 times more for a click than you're going to have 1 to 6 months in. And really, time is not the real gauge. It's until you have 1,000 to 3,000 clicks on that keyword you're bidding on. So, because if you have more money, you'll get the results quicker, only because you'll be able to get that first 1 to 3,000 clicks on that keyword for Google to figure out that you have a good ad click-through rate and a good conversion rate from your click to give you the lower cost per click. So when you have $1 a day, it just stretches out the time for Google's algorithm that just decides how much you're paying for a click and what quality of the traffic they're going to give you, what percentage of the higher quality traffic they're going to give you, than it would be if you had $100 a day ad budget starting out. So if you have $1 a day budget, it might take you 6 months to get to that first 1,000 clicks on your keywords that you're bidding. But once you do, assuming the ad was set up right and you did what I told you to do on my other videos to make sure your ad's going to beat all the rest of the ads click-through rate wise and conversion rate wise, you'll get that 4 to 6x reduction in your cost per click. So instead of paying $5 per click, you're paying $1 per click. So to put you in position to be profitable, so that you can get to the next stage where you're not, spending $1 a day on your budget anymore. You're spending $2, and you're starting to scale, so to say. Conversion rate wise, for what you start out day one compared to where you're going to start out after 1,000 to 3,000 clicks, assuming your conversion rate is in the top 10% or greater in your market, you're going to have a conversion rate, in other words, from click to sale or click to lead, meaning form fill or contact form fill or phone call. You're going to have 5 to 20 times the conversion rate from day one to day, whatever amount of time it takes basically to get to that first 1,000 to 3,000 clicks, because of like what I said before about Google giving the best traffic to the people that have been there a long time, because they already know that they need to do that in order to please those people, and they're not going to start sucking away that other person's traffic that they know they need on a regular basis until you give them basically good reason to do that. Or they'll basically send you, 5% of the good traffic. But once the algorithm starts seeing you can actually convert better than them, they'll start giving you a higher and higher percentage of the good traffic until you're getting most of it you're in. And then your conversion rate, instead of being, basically 0.1%, it's 2%, and then you got your conversion rate high enough then to be able to make money from your $1 a day in terms of money left over after ad spend and the cost of your product or service, what it costs to deliver, and your other overhead and so forth. So if you set everything up right on your $1 a day to get a higher click-through rate than your competition, higher conversion rate than your competition, when 1,000 to 3,000 clicks are accumulated, obviously the cost per click in your market is going to dictate if that's 1 month or 6 months. But once you get 1,000 to 3,000 clicks, now you're probably in position to have that $1 be profitable, whereas it's not going to be at the beginning, no matter how good you set it up, because when you pay 5 times more for a click and you have to get 10 times as many clicks to get a sale, it's really hard to make that work at the beginning. So assuming you did things right, it's not a matter of if you're going to make money from your $1 a day, it's just a matter of how long is it going to take before it works. If you know you got the highest click-through rate in your market compared to what you see in the Google search space now, and the higher conversion rate compared to what you see in the search space now, Google is going to eventually love you, but you have to prove it to them with your $1 a day budget if that's what you're starting out with, and until you've accumulated at least 1,000 to 3,000 clicks on each keyword, or on your keyword if you're just bidding on one keyword, which I'm going to talk about in a second, which is one way to start out with less money. And then they know it, and then they can give you the benefit of the doubt, give you the best quality traffic that converts at a higher rate or at the highest rate and the cheapest cost per click so you're basically getting the highest price for the shittiest clicks, and it goes to where you get the cheapest price for the best quality clicks after you've gotten that first 1,000 to 3,000 clicks on that keyword and prove you have the highest click-through rate and the highest conversion rates for that keyword for the people that show up for that keyword now that you're going to ultimately be competing against. So that's how the system works, if you will. You can take that $1 a day. You can potentially start with if you want to start out with as little money as possible, what I would advise for you to do is start out with just one keyword, literally one keyword, so that if it's $1 a click in your market and you have a $1 a day budget, so if you only have that $1 a day budget, you're not basically spreading it all out to too many keywords, which is just going to lengthen the time it takes for you to make that first $1 a day budget profitable so you can get to $2 and then keep multiplying your money in your investment. So, obviously if you have to have 1,000 keywords and you only have $1 a day budget and it's $1 per click, if you do the math, it's still going to take you 9 months before the algorithm figures out that you have the best click-through rate and the best conversion rate. So it's still going to take a long time. If you have a 50 cents cost per click, it would take 4.5 months. So, and if you have a really expensive per click, you may not be able to get by with $1 a day. But that gives you some, and that's not a hard, fast rule, but that's a basic benchmark of what you can kind of expect. You're going to have to put money into this for the algorithm to figure out that you are the top dog, and then you could basically expect to start making money. So as you can see here, it's not even worth even doing this. Or if you didn't get the message, it's not even worth doing Google ads unless you're going to come in and try to beat the other people. This is simply a competition between you and the other people advertising in terms of who can get a higher click-through rate and a higher conversion rate overall. If you can do it, you can take their business away from them and make millions of dollars a year in sales in your market take in those customers. If you can't, you won't. Google set the system up to, handsomely reward the top 10 or 20% of people who can do those two things in every market, whereas everybody else is making little to nothing. And Google set things up that way so that people that aren't doing a good job for their users get essentially priced out of the market, so they don't want to advertise anymore because it's not profitable, and so that new people can come in to try to challenge the status quo with the people that are there now. The people that can beat the people that are there now will get promoted to getting the best traffic for the cheapest prices, and make the people that are there now, instead of let them get fat and happy, make them start to have to reinvent themselves. So they want a competitive environment to make a better and better user environment for their users on an ongoing basis, so people like ads more and more on an ongoing basis. They find more use from them on a more ongoing basis, so that people want to click on ads versus the organic on a more so on an ongoing basis. You can see how this system is set up, and it's set up for anybody to come in. The little guy can beat Goliath every single time if he just can get the click-through rate up higher than anybody else, or in the top 20% at least, let's say, and the conversion rate higher than at least 80% of the people advertising now. 80% is what I would say, by the way, because there's 4 ads at the top of Google. So if you're basically in the top 20%, you're good enough to be able to, where you're pretty much going to be assured that it will make money, because Google's got to promote 4 people anyway, even though there's 10 people cycling in and out of those top 4 spots. So you got to realize those people that aren't shown there the most probably aren't Google's favorite. They aren't Google's favorite, and they're charging them more than the people that are shown there the most. So it's not a matter of if your $1 a day will work. It's just a matter of how long will it take for Google to figure out that you've got the better metrics, and then give you the benefit of the doubt, give you the better traffic on the better portion of the traffic on the keyword you're bidding on, or keywords you're bidding on. Lower your cost per click for those so-called higher quality clicks, but it all still requires you to know what it takes to get the higher click-through rate, the higher conversion rates, and you got to have tracking set up so Google knows, in terms of the conversion rate part of that formula that I told you that they're looking for, that you have a high conversion rate. That means if you're doing e-commerce, that you have proper revenue tracking set up. So people that go through the cart and buy, you have that all tracked, and they know how much revenue that you're producing. If you're generating leads, that means tracking every phone call and form fill on your site. And then furthermore, do something called offline conversion tracking, so that when you get a lead that turns into a qualified lead, you import that into the account. And if you can, and you normally can close a sale within 90 days of getting the lead, you import the sale and what the revenue amount was with that sale, or predicted contract value, and pump that back into your account, so Google can see that these people that are contacting you like what they got when they got to your site ultimately, and then also from your sales process ultimately. And so you can't skimp on the tracking. But if the tracking's there, and you have legitimately a better ad and a better landing page for people to go to that gets higher conversion rates, it's only a matter of time before the clicks start being profitable enough for you to make a profit, enough profit to where you could spin off part of that profit and take your budget from $1 a day to $2 a day, and then $4, and then so forth. Everybody that you see at the top of Google spending tons of money and you wonder how they can afford it, this is how they can afford it. They started off as a little guy. Nobody throws 20 grand a month at Google ads on a whim until they can see that it works for themselves. Or they know because they have a friend that does it already, or whatever. But 90% of the people started out with, if it wasn't $1 a day, it was $10 a day, $30 a day. And then they saw that it worked, and then they started doing more. And if they didn't have investor funds, they did just what I told you. They were disciplined. They did what it took to make sure their ads were better than their competition, which made their ads profitable enough to have a profit, which then they recycled back into ad spend, which then they worked hard on the new ad spend that they started spending to make sure that was profitable enough. And in that the new ad spend was, and what they were advertising on the new ad spend would outdo what the competition was doing still, so that that portion of their ad spend that was new would produce a profit, so they could go into something else that's new, and just kept building it up. Over, people don't like to hear this. They want to be able to have an e-commerce business and get rich in 1 year. It doesn't work that way for the average person. The average person that I deal with is going to start out with a budget like, $30 a day, and then, the next year we're spending $60 a day. Then the year after that we're spending $120, $240, and 7 years in we're spending, $3,000 a day or whatever, and we're making $5 million a year in sales just off of Google ads. You got to be able to put the work in to have better ads, like I said, and then you got to have patience still on top of it, because even if the ads are good, when you go ahead and go to reinvest money into the next bit of ad spend, you got to go through the process of making sure first of all, you got to build something that has better metrics, like I said, click-through rate, conversion rate. But then on top of that, and as you start scaling up, it gets harder. So you generally, as it gets harder, instead of it just being no optimization required, because you went after the most productive stuff first, like I told you to do, you have to run it, and then there's half of it that doesn't work and half of it that does. You got to weed the half out that doesn't work, of which Google will do that on their end. But if you want it to happen sooner, like I said at the very start of this video, you got to do it on your end as well. So Google's algorithm will try to weed out the stuff that doesn't work, but so can you by looking at the different dimensions in the account: the gender level, age level, time of the day level, day of the week level, state level, city level, country level, neighborhood level, interest level, behavior level, income level, parental status level, and on and on and on. So when I say it, it's not a matter of if it will work, it's a matter of when and how much work is it going to take. I really do mean that. Anybody that has a competitive offer in their niche can make this work. Question is, how long is it going to take? In terms of the algorithm optimizing it for you, or if you want results quicker, how long is it going to take for you to have enough data with the conversion tracking data that you have, that you're paying for ultimately, with your initial spend before it works, to find out the portion of what you did what wouldn't work, it's not going to ever pay, get that out of the way, and so what you have left will and can work, makes a profit, and then use that to reinvest into the next thing. And you just keep doing that over and over and over again. So if you want to know how to make an ad and a landing page that gets a higher click-through rate and a conversion rate better than anybody else, watch my other videos. Start with the video that I talk about SCAG setup. Other people that are out there that are in the PPC space are going to say that's outdated. They're full of shit. One of the easiest possible #1 ways to take something like $1 a day budget, make it work as soon as possible so you can get to the $2 a day, is to use a SCAG setup. Find the most profitable, most obvious keywords to go after, which means if you're targeting if you have a dentist, let's say you're a dentist, instead of going after dentistry, go after cosmetic dentists near me. Get as specific and as clear of keywords as possible that are where it's guaranteed when obviously somebody searches this, they're looking to buy, not later, but buy now. Go after that by itself. Come up with a custom ad that says cosmetic dentist near you, so that when your ad shows up at the top of Google, your ad is the obvious one they click on 3 to 4 to 5 times the rate as any other ad that's there now for your local market. Then take them to a page that says cosmetic dentist near you, and then a little thing where it shows a map where you're at, and target somebody, of course, that's within 1 mile of your dentistry clinic, so that, of course, you really are near the person. You see where I'm going with this. What's the most, low-hanging fruit, layup customer you could possibly get? Use that to spend your dollar on. Yes, it's going to take more work. Yes, it's going to be tempting to spend 15 minutes setting this up and just expecting it to work anyway. I can tell you it's going to work 50 times better if you go and do it my way instead of just doing a random thing where you just type in a few keywords and then just send them to your homepage, if it works at all. So the more time you put in, the less money it's going to take up front to be able to get to a point where it doesn't cost you more money to put in the system. before it's making its own money. Everybody wants Google Ads to make money so they don't have to keep putting money into it till it's profitable. Well, the way that you cut down on that money that's required to get it profitable is to do what I just told you to do and go after the most obvious things, and then do the most you can for those very, very few select people you do go after to make the experience as best as possible for them in terms of the ad and the conversion, the landing page that you take them to. So anyway, that's the best thing I could tell you about minimum Google Ads budget. You can start with virtually no budget at all and get it to work. Still going to take a while to get it to work in most markets, but at least it's not going to take you 10 years for you to get that $1 a day working if that's all you have, if you go ahead and you put more work in to find out who's the most likely customer to buy, and then doing as much as you can for that one particular type of customer to get them to buy. That can be, even sometimes in a month, that $1 a day can be working. Not likely, like I said before, but and ultimately that investment of money, even if it is a little money, it's not a matter of if it will turn a profit, it's just a matter of when. Setting it up, wait till you get enough clicks. If you can afford to lose $1 a day until it works, that's what you put in. If you can afford to spend $10 a day, put 10 in, because you're going to get there sooner, because you'll get to your minimum 1,000 of clicks on that keyword sooner, like I was talking about earlier. So I'll wrap it up with that though. I'll keep it simple, or as simple as possible anyway. If you have any questions about anything I covered today, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. Ask me any question about PPC you would like, even if it's not related to this topic at all. I'd love to be able to help you out. With that said, if you are, like I said, looking to be able to make your ads really work, not just kind of work, but really work, and do so without having to have tons and tons of budget to find out what works, watch my videos on this channel and therefore subscribe, because I'm giving you the real information that not only just works, because I'm doing ad strategy for clients all day long. This is my sole job, but we have to actually guarantee results for our clients. So what I'm telling you here on this particular channel is the stuff we use to literally guarantee clients results before we get paid. So if there's anybody you want to listen to in terms of how to really get results and not just going to blow smoke up your butt to make it sound simple, because that's what people want to hear and see is it's easy. If it was easy, everybody else would do it already and there would be no opportunity there. This is the information you want, and therefore you should subscribe. Furthermore, I got a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog where you can follow my written work if you'd like to do that. If you love my channel, you'll love my blog even more, I promise you. As well as I've written work on entrepreneur.com via my column there that I write. If you are looking for an ad manager, now or in the future, I guarantee you won't find a better ad manager than myself to work on your stuff. And like I mentioned before, we guarantee results for our clients, which, by the way, nobody else out there does. What the guarantee is we simply are going to guarantee you a certain minimum amount of sales results on your campaigns up front, usually without having to raise your ad budget up front at all. We might be able to raise your budget sales 25 to 100% up front without taking a fee, which our fee then basically just comes out of the additional profit you're making from your ad spend. We don't work with just any client. You got to have a great opportunity for us to be able to work on your stuff that we know we can get results on. But if you want to see if I can work on your stuff, reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be happy to give you a free analysis and plan either way on what I would do if I were in your position. So reach out to me if you're interested in that. If you are looking for an ad manager, we also, by the way, have ad templates that we sell that you can literally copy paste results into your ad account. In that, if we've worked in your market before, we could simply sell you the ads, the campaign templates, landing page templates that work in your market for a one-time fee, and you could get the same results we are getting or have gotten in the past in your market. Such as if you're a plumber, we've worked in the plumbing market, we've gotten a cost per lead down in the $50 lead range. If that's what you want, you could take our exact templates, which we would tell you the results you would get up front before you would buy our templates, and then you just copy and paste those results directly into your account. It's really that simple. The templates, by the way, are so badass that we got people using the templates to start up other side ancillary businesses where they either outsource the work or they have a partner do the operations just by having their hands on the ad templates that work. The hard part of dipping into that market is over. The way that we can do it is if you work in a different country than our client, you simply, or a different city, you can just simply use what works in one market that you're not in, and in your market, and get the same results in your market. That's how these templates ultimately work. We do it in both services as well as e-commerce businesses, that where products you could acquire and sell in your own market. So anyway, if you're interested in that, reach out to me. I'll let you know what markets we've worked in. We've worked in over 100 markets, probably worked in your market before, but would tell you if we have and what results we've gotten in your market before, what the fee would be for the templates, of course. So beyond that, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. You saw a lot of use out of it, and I'll see you on the next one. See you later.